Hello and welcome back for round 11 of RN Fantasy M Experts. Man, I cannot believe it. We're already here at the end of the outdoor season. Hope you guys have had a blast watching it and had even more fun playing fantasy. But there's a lot on the line. We've got grand prizes that are going to be up for grabs here just after one more round. We've also got weekly prizes to give away. And me, I'm going to toot my horn a little bit. I am just 4 points out of the lead for my big Rocky Mountain group here. So I've got stuff on the line as well. But we are headed to Ironman in Crawfordsville, Indiana. Last round. Let's get right into it. So, grand prizes, you know the deal. This is why you play fantasy, because all year long you're trying to win some of these grand prizes. You also want to win those weekly prizes. This is what we're giving away here in just 1 week. A KTM 300 SX to first place, Gas G Light Trail e-bike to second, and we do a ticket to ride for third place where we fly somebody out here to Utah. We go down to the Green River area, have an absolute blast. 7 other awesome grand prizes to give away. We also do fantasy cash. If you don't know that, when you play fantasy, you score points. Those points translate to fantasy cash that you can then spend on our website. It's free to play, rnfantasymx.com. It's free to play, you win free prizes, and you get money to spend. What's not to like? Also, we do the 10 weekly prizes each and every week. For example, this week our top 3, Fly Racing Formula CC helmet, GoPro Hero 12, FXR gear set to our podium, and then of course 7 other awesome prizes. So make sure to get signed up. And also remember too that once the outdoor season is over, it's not over yet. Because we have the SMX playoffs, we restart from scratch and we have just a 3-round playoff format for fantasy with tons of cash on the line. So make sure to get signed up for that and play fantasy with us for the playoffs. All right, here it is, KTM leaderboards. Overall, it is Dottie 969 with 797 points. 15-point lead over Jay Moolah, who's at 782. And then our third place guy right now is D Will at 774. Remember, you can see the leaderboard that shows everybody. You can also see who won weekly prizes at any time on the fantasy website. Our weekly prize winners from last week, it was Zach Mack winning the MSR NXT gear set. Hunter JL41106, the long name, but took home the Matrix Concepts LX1 lift stand. And then Cassie91, congratulations to you, won that GoPro Hero 12 camera. All right, let's get into it. Results from last week. Chase Sexton does it again. Hunta, man, is this the week that he wins the overall? I think so. I'm going to explain why here when we get into our top contenders in just a few minutes. Aaron Plessinger, another podium. In fact, he talked about in an interview, that's the most consecutive podiums that AP has had since his 250 days. So shout out to him. This man right here, look, I need a moment here for Malcolm Stewart. When people say, oh, he's a Supercross specialist, he's not known to be an outdoor guy, do you know how good of a motorcycle rider you have to be to get 4th overall in the Pro Nationals? Do you have any idea? You don't. So anybody out there who wants to say that, oh, this rider, that rider, he's just a Supercross specialist, I don't want to hear it. Malcolm Stewart would show up to any local race, anywhere, anytime, and smoke absolutely everybody there. He's at an elite level, and I freaking love it. Marshall Welton, Grant Harlan, Harry Kulas, Colin Park, all those guys, just because they're getting teens, I don't care. They are absolutely shredding on dirt bikes. Jason Anderson, another top 5 overall. Was it because Justin Cooper crashed on that first moto? I kind of think so, but hey, he'll take it. And then there he is right there, the 58 of Colin Park, getting 15th place for the wild card. Okay, news and injuries. Cooper Webb, not going to be racing this weekend. Re-injured his thumb, well, made it sore. Luckily, he's going to be there for the SMX playoffs. Benny Bloss is still out. Justin Barsha, I really don't know what's going on with him. They talked about like he's going to be back for some of these last races, but he is nowhere to be found. Maybe in England, don't know what he's doing, but we'll probably see him for the SMX playoffs, but not going to see him this weekend. Shout out to Tomac too. Look, I was a little surprised. 4th place in that first moto, I thought I was going to eat my own mouth, my own words, because I said last week, do not put him in your top 5. Blake could probably put the replay up there. Don't go putting Tomac in your top 5 just because he is Eli Tomac, and yes, he is beast mode, but that doesn't mean he's just going to show up in shape, ready to rock and roll. But got 4th, and I was like, oh boy. Then that second moto kind of happened what I thought would happen initially. Kind of looked like he was probably getting a little bit tired. Look, racing's a lot different than just putting in 30-minute motos at your home track. But give him one more week coming up here in Ironman, he could be a whole lot better. So a top 5 overall for Tomac, I think is very well within reason for this weekend. So we'll talk more about that. But if we look at the track trends, Crawfordsville, Indiana is where this track is. Again, it's Ironman. And Ironman is known for the GNCC race. That's a Grand National Cross Country Racing. It started there back in 1995. And then I actually didn't know this, but the Ironman track opened up to the Pro Nationals in 2014. And here's a cool little fun fact. Tomac, Sexton, and Jet Lawrence have won the last 5 overalls there. Now, take Jet out of it because he's not actively racing this weekend. Tomac and Sexton are the only 2 riders that are lining up this weekend that have won the overall at Ironman since they started racing there back in 2014. Cool little tidbit. Okay, Roxon's racing 250s. He has won there before, but he's not racing a 450, so that's why I didn't put him in there. But Ken Roxon is racing a 250, which I think is going to be pretty cool. All right, folks, here we are, 100% top contenders. Now, look, my mind's in a pretzel right now. It's a big pretzel, and here's why. Look, Chase Sexton, he's won the overall in 2022 at Ironman. He's won 9 of the last 12 motos. He has a 28-point lead over Hunta. First or second wraps up the title for him. Logically, you would think he's the best pick for first. But we just saw what happened with Hayden Deegan. Hayden won that championship in Moto 1 and in Moto 2. And multiple guys have said this before. When you wrap up the title a round early or a race early or one moto early, it's really hard to just focus and want to hammer down for that next race or that next moto because you just won the title. That's what you're thinking about. You don't want to have to go focus for another 35 minutes. So if Sexton wins a title in the first moto, I don't know if he's going to want to try and go hammer down to win that second moto. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Hunta to get his first overall win this year. Look, he hasn't done it yet. He's won a lot of motos. And you got to think, too, this is his last try to do it this year. Going into 2025 season for outdoors, it's only going to get harder with his brother being back. We don't know if Tomac's going to race outdoors next year, but he might. So if Hunta is going to do it, I feel like this is just the perfect opportunity if Sexton does what I think he's going to do. So that's why I'm going to put him for first overall this weekend. Aaron Plessinger, third overall. That's where you need to put him. Look, he's gone 3-3-2-4-2. He's on a podium streak. He's just the third best guy right now, flat out. He's consistent. He ripped a whole shot last week. His starts are good. Put AP for third overall. Justin Cooper, feel bad for this guy, man. He had that big crash in Moto 1. He was in a tight battle with AP for third overall. Now AP's pretty much got that locked down. But the good news is for Cooper, but I hear he does have a deal signed for 2025 with Star. So not a lot of pressure there, but man, he probably missed out on a good chunk of cash when he crashed in that first moto. But I still think he's the fourth best guy right now. If he didn't crash in Moto 1, does he beat AP for third overall? I don't know. However, put him for fourth. That's a great spot. The next position, though, fifth overall, this one's another mind pretzel for me. Look, Anderson's been consistently getting top fives for the last 5 or 6 rounds. He's gone 5-5-3, 5-4. He took fourth overall Ironman in 2023, so just last year. But talked about Tomac. I did not see that fourth place coming in that Moto 1. So with another week under his belt, more motos, he's kind of got those jitters out of the way. He probably knows what he needs to work on because his starts in Moto 2 were horrible. But I think Tomac could beat Anderson out. Look, he beat Anderson straight up in that first moto. Didn't get tired, rode it phenomenal. So I actually think that Tomac at this race, he's won it 3 times overall. Of those 5 wins I talked about earlier, Tomac's won 3 of those. Anderson hasn't won there. So I got to give the edge to Tomac to get fifth overall this week. He might get fourth overall. I think Cooper, the better starts, a little bit better for that. But yeah, Anderson and Tomac right now, I think I'd probably give the edge to Tomac. Speaking of that, let's bring in our man Daniel Blair. Daniel Blair, 2 questions for you. 1, how surprised were you at Tomac's 4th place in that first moto? How much do you think he can improve going into this week in Ironman? Question number 2, if you had to, look, we're all about guesswork here, theories. If you had to pick a winner for the SMX playoffs right now with Sexton being so good and Hunta, Jet getting back on the bike, he's going to be there. Who would be your pick for the SMX championship right now?
I like the question, and it's probably the sweet spot right now for Eli Tomac. That first moto felt right. I really believe the top 3 have separated from the field. Obviously, Chase has been kind of in his own world. But Hunter's been really good. AP's been really good too. Both those guys are fighting for a win, and I feel like they're just probably out of reach right now for Eli, off the couch. You know, it's Eli. He's a 4-time champ, but just off the couch, just coming back, a season off. Those 3 are really firing on all cylinders right now, so I feel like the 4th is a sweet spot for him. That second moto, though, being way back there in the pack and having a battle, I think that was probably pretty tough for him. A little eye-opening, like, look, man, if I don't get the start, I'm going to be back here in an area I don't want to be in. And I don't think he's going to want to do that again. So I could see him coming out at Ironman and having 2 good motos, but probably still in that 4 to 5 range. I think Anderson's riding well. Jay Coop's still riding well. Ferranda's probably going to come back and try to bounce back from the last one. So I think he'll still have challenges inside that top 5. But to your question, 4, that's the sweet spot for me right now. I think that's where he sits, at least for this last round. And then I think he'll be possibly and probably better than that once we go to Charlotte. So that leads to the second question, SMX champion. I want to see Jet back on the bike just so I know what it looks like. But then again, it's Jet, so I'm going to assume it's going to be pretty good. But right now, Chase Sexton's riding at the absolute best I've ever seen him. He's dominant. He's very powerful. It's clicking on all cylinders. And I feel like it's 50-50. I mean, that's where I sit right now because Jet's coming off the couch a little bit, and he hasn't dealt with an injury like this in a while that he's had to be off the bike for some time. So this will be a little different for him, something that he doesn't see and do often. So I see more of a 50-50. And but if I'm a betting man, I got to go with Jet because even when he was hurt early in the outdoor season, he was still winning. And because the guy, he just wins. So my money is on Jet, but I truly do feel 50-50 for the SMX title.
All right, Mr. Blair, thank you so much for that. All right, look, last thing I will point out, if you want to get risque, Malcolm Stewart, 27, just got 4th overall. Momentum, it's huge in this sport, and I just want to give him a shout out because, again, I don't think anybody realizes how gnarly you are to get 4th overall in an outdoor motocross race. So Malcolm Stewart could be a sneaky pick. All right, let's get into it. Let's get in here on Wildcard Watch. All right, Bell Racing Wildcard Watch. It's 12th this weekend. I need to get it right. Freddie Noren, 12, 11, 8, 15 overall in the last 4 motos or races. His average Moto 1 finish is 14.3. Average Moto 2 finish, 13.7. My man Marshall Welton, 13, 18, 10, 12 overall. He's finished within 2 spots of 12th in 6 of the last 8 motos. Whew. Marshall's sounding good right now. Grant Harlan. Look, Grant could be 19th or he could be 10th overall. I really don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me. Like, he got 19th overall last week. Before that, he was 10th overall, a 14th, a 25th, and 11th. This man is like the freaking Richter scale. But he is a good pick for 12th overall. It's just a little risky looking at his stats. But he's a good pick. Harry Kulas, like 20th last week. But before that, he was 12th, 11th, 9th. So Harry's even a little bit better. If you look at average, take out last week, he's even a little bit better. But his average Moto 1 finish is 14.7. Average Moto 2 finish is 14. But 12th is a good spot for Harry. Maybe even better. And then last but not least, Mr. Pope, whatever you want to call him. Like, he got his best result last week. He went 12-13 for 11th overall. So he could be a really good pick too. So there it is at your Bell Racing Wildcard Watch. All right, folks, here they are. Motion Pro lock him in. I'm so locked in right now. Hunta, he's going to do it. First overall this season. He's won too many motos to not win an overall. I don't know if any rider has won as many races as he has and not won an overall. I have to fact check that. But I'm going Hunta. I'm going Chase 2nd overall. I'm going AP 3rd, Cooper 4th, Tomac 5th, and I'm going to go my boy Marshall Welton for the wild card in 12th place. Mr. Blair, who do you got?
Okay, so I think Chase Sexton is going to Ironman to get his championship, and I don't think he's going to bring the all of it. I mean, maybe, because he closed out a Supercross season when he won the championship, and he was great at the last round, so it's hard to say he's not a last round smash kind of guy, but at the same time, I think Hunter is racing for more. AP right now is racing for more. Those two guys want it so bad, and Chase wants his title. So I'm going to go with Hunter first, AP 2nd, Chase 3rd. Let's go Eli 4th, and we'll go Jay Coop to close out the season in 5th, and we'll go Phil Nicoletti for the wild card in 12th. It's his last race. He's going to ride off into the sunset. So let's go Phil Nicoletti for the wild card. So that's Hunter, AP, Chase, Eli, Jay Coop, Phil Nicoletti.
All right, Mr. Blair, thank you so much for those picks. I want to know, who do you have? What are your top 5 for this weekend and your wild card? You got anything up for grabs? Do you have a group that you're betting money on? Maybe you got a cool bet that you want to talk about. I don't know. Leave that down in the comment section below. But remember, go to rnfantasymx.com. Don't forget, we have fantasy for the SMX playoffs coming up here in September. And we're also going to be right around the corner. I can't believe this. I'm saying this already. But right around the corner is the 2025 RN Fantasy SX season. So make sure, get subscribed to the Fantasy YouTube channel. Sign up if you haven't already. It's an absolute blast. nothing makes it more exciting. We hope you've had an absolute blast playing fantasy this year. Hopefully you've won some weekly prizes and you've spent that fantasy cash. And from all of us here at Rocky Mountain, the best of luck this weekend, and we'll see you soon.